Before we cover that topic, I want to kind of talk a little bit about something that did come up off my last YouTube video. I made a YouTube video and I discussed the, what was the name of it? The process of practical training, right? And that was the video where I had you throw, you came in with Oizuki, and then I said, okay, now do it just straight Yaku, and then I said, turn around, give me the lead jab, and I was doing the same technique. I was showing the progression of being able to do it from a long distance, away from the opponent, and then as he shortened the attack, still came in with a punch, but as he shortened the attack to make it quicker, how I remained the same strategy, which is what we're talking about now. I had the same strategy and I applied the same principles to come up with the same objective, even though your attack had changed slightly and closed the distance, I still remained what I was doing. Anyway, in that video, I had made right in the middle of it, there was a 30-second little clip of me talking about how schools that do mixed martial arts and how I kind of separate myself from them, and that's not something that I agree with so much. And then also on that same note, I talked about how I'm not talking about sport martial arts and how I gave a little bit of praise to the sport martial art people. I will always give praise to the sport martial artists because you can't get the two mixed up. People who want to do sport martial arts do sport martial arts. People that want to do Kodo martial arts, self-defense, are going to do Kodo martial arts and self-defense. They're not the same two things. They're not the same thing. You catch what I'm saying? The training is much different. So the people who do MMA as a sport, boxing, kickboxing, UFC, right, that kind of thing, that's great, and I'll give them all the credit. They're great athletes. They're some of the best athletes in the world. I give them all their due. But when I'm talking about my position where I differentiate or I stand against the mixed martial arts, I'm talking about it in my circle of martial arts, not in martial arts in general. And that's why I'm bringing this up on the camera, because of what was asked in one of the comments on the videos. I'm not talking about sport MMA. I'm talking about the people that like, well, I'm going to take these strikes of karate, I'm going to take these throws of judo, I'm going to take these grappling moves of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I'm going to take these kicks of Muay Thai and these clinch techniques and these, you know what I mean? And then you get this one individual, we're going to call it Bob. So what Bob does is Bob formulates what he thinks is the best martial art. And then he teaches these techniques like, we're going to do these strikes to these throws to this takedown to this grapple to this right? So in essence, he has now created a mixed martial art. He's not teaching one thing. He's teaching a compendium of different things. Not any one thing in whole. It's what he thinks is the best. He thinks those are the best strikes. Now, all these strikes he don't want. He wants those strikes. He don't want these kicks. He wants these kicks. He don't want these throws. He wants these throws. Are you following me? Those martial arts, that is exactly what, since the beginning of time, that's the one reason I started the Budoryukai. Because it's just a bunch of shit. Someone's teaching their opinion, right? And that, although that may be Bob's opinion of what is the best, and that may be a very good martial art. I'm not saying that it's not. But one thing it definitely does not do, it definitely does not gear the individual student to find enlightenment or find themselves through training. And the reason for that is no one person's the same. We're all different. We all have different likes and dislikes. We all have different physical abilities. Some of us has physical disabilities, right? And we have to learn what techniques are best for us. And that's why I was talking about earlier about how none of us are perfect. The arts are perfect, we're not perfect. And people miscue that. They think that, well, we should all be able to do everything. That's not true, right? We should learn our bodies and do the best we can do. That's why we train. So let's get back to this Bob. So Bob's teaching this, and he teaches this technique, and we're going to call it Kata 1. And he teaches what he calls Kata number 1. Kata number 2, or Waza number 1. Everyone has a different technique number 1, whatever. They all have their own names. And he throws a certain strike, a certain block, a certain kick, a certain takedown, a certain grapple. And he's taking the piece of this, and this. And by doing that, he's already making sure that every one of his students are going to look exactly like he looks. They're going to move like he moves. They're going to be like he is, because he's only doing the things he's good at. If Bob can't throw a side kick, he ain't going to have a side kick in the goddamn curriculum. Because most people have ego, and they only do the things they're good at. I am not going to teach with ego. So when we have Budo-ryu Ninjutsu, the idea is I'm going to teach 7 complete traditions. And we're going to work various ways of going in and out of these 7 warrior traditions. But instead of having Budo-ryu Ninjutsu Kata number 1, Budo-ryu Ninjutsu Kata number 2, I'm going to teach 7 traditions, and we're going to run drills. And then you guys are going to figure out, well, out of Kokudo Kempo, I like these strikes and these particular techniques. Out of Tenjin Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, I like these particular maneuvers and techniques. At a Eshinryu Iaijutsu, I like these particular maneuvers and techniques. At a Tomoru Shinobi Jutsu, I like these particular techniques, kata, whatever. Same thing with Kotoryu Koppojutsu, Gyokoru Koshijutsu, and Togakuryu Ninpo Taijutsu. We have these 7 traditions, and instead of me saying, I'm going to pull from this one and this one and this one, now I'm going to make my own kata. And then from that kata, you need to learn that kata, and you're tested on that kata, and you got to show me you can do that. That would be me giving you ego. And that's exactly what I stand against. What I do is I teach you the 7 traditions. And when you guys test, you're testing on the material of Kokuryu Kempo, Tenjin Jujutsu. We have various Henka, modern variations that are learned, but those are a variation of the same school. Like example, Gyokoru, we study the Sanshin, right? The Chi Sui Ka Fuku, right? Chi no Kata, Su no Kata, okay. From those kata, you guys have 5 modern Henka, a modern variation to those kata. You don't see me taking the Henka of the Sanshin no kata, and we're not putting in Kokuryu Kempo or Tenjin Jujutsu, or, you know what I mean? That's not what we did. The modern variation of the Sanshin that we practice still fits within the idea, the principles, and the strategies of Gyokoru. I made a mention a long time ago. I said that everyone's Budo-ryu ninjutsu will be different. And it's true. Everyone's Budo-ryu ninjutsu will be different. You will choose the best strikes, the best kicks, the best throws, the best grappling maneuvers for you. I don't want to be the one to do that. I want to show you guys the individuals. I want to help look at your body, look at the way you move, and then figure out the way you move, and that will be your personal expression. But nobody's going to be the same. Some people will be more strike heavy, some people will be more weapons, some people will be more grappling, some people like more of the strategies and philosophy of Ninpo and camouflage and survival skills, and everyone's going to have a different take. But I don't want to be the one to say this is the way it is, because the arts are greater than that. So when people study these martial arts, and let's say that it's like Bob's Do, right? The way of Bob. And your technique number 1, we're going to combine the striking of karate and the throws of judo and the grappling of this and the kicking of taekwondo or something like that. Like, that's the stuff that I just feel like, what? It's like I feel like they should apologize to those arts, for one, because it's given the student who practices shit like that a false image of what those are. Because he's clearly taken a piece of karate and a piece of taekwondo and a piece of judo, and he's not showing the student what it truly was. And that's why we do what we do. And I know that's extremely difficult for people to understand, that the curriculum is so vast and it's so intricate, it's so dynamic, that everyone's going to move differently, everyone's going to have different likes and dislikes. But that's the way it should be. Everyone should be able to express themselves in their training, not be limited to their training. I've said this a million times, I'm going to say it again before we move to this first lesson, right? Your training has to fit reality. Reality does not change to fit your training. I'll say it again. Your training has to fit reality. Reality does not fit the training. What that means is people want to say, I study real self-defense, real this, okay? And then they're doing the spin kicks and the flying arm bars and all these really flashy techniques you see in the movies. And if they tried that in a real street fight with someone putting a gun to their head or a knife in their throat, they're going to be dead. Because they're doing techniques that do not fit raw reality self-defense. It just doesn't. You catch what I'm saying? So people are like, well, I think everyone should have a black belt. I think everyone should be able to do. Why? Not everyone's going to make the cut. That is the reality of it. I mean, people say, well, I was in the Navy for so many years. Were you a Navy SEAL? I think it's a great thing that someone was in the Navy, and you guys know I'm a huge supporter of the military, but not everyone who goes to the Navy is going to be a Navy SEAL. Not everyone who goes to the Army is going to be a fucking Green Beret. Not everyone that goes to the Marines is going to be a recon sniper. I mean, it's just, that's the reality of it. And most people don't even go to the fucking military. They ain't got the balls to do it to begin with. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it already says enough that you were in the military, but there's that even more, like you were special forces, right? So when you study ninjutsu, it's supposed to be difficult because it was the special forces of the goddamn samurai. They were samurai. It's supposed to be hard. It ain't supposed to be everyone could just, here, you know,